And we're live. Good morning. Let's talk food standards because it is all coming to a head this week. Part of the major mission of Brexit was to escape the British European standards we had set and do trade deals around the world, letting those standards fall so that we could do fast deals. That's the ambition of this government. And when Donald Trump came into power, then that went in overdrive in terms of our potential trade deal with the United States. Now, the thing that has held up Europe doing trade deal with the US before was largely the agriculture. Because their food standards and their standard of animal welfare is so far below what the EU has subscribed to and set up, that deal, TTIP, didn't work. But the ambition of our Brexiteers and government was now that the UK was alone, we could just politically align with Trump and align our standards with the US because we weren't so squeamish about chlorinated chicken, hormone injected beef, ractopamine, and all of those standards. So that was the ambition of this government. And that is why back in May, when the agriculture bill and trade bill were going through Parliament, the MPs decided they wouldn't have a say whatsoever in the end deal. They signed away that right, but they also signed away protections for our NHS and also protections that guarantee that the food standards of imports actually match the food standards of this country. And that was the Neil Parish amendment back in May, Neil Parish being a Tory MP, that got rejected, and to the dismay of not only farmers in this country, who then saw that they would be undercut, but also a lot of the public. Now, what has happened since then is there has been, over the summer months, a big ramping up of anger and resistance. Ourselves, March for Change in particular, have paired up with Save British Farming, and we have done demonstrations on Back British Farming Day, got over 100 banners onto farms around the country, Save British Farming, Save British Food, demos in Ipswich and down in sort of Wiltshire. Then after that, more demonstrations in Wales. There was a great one in Northallerton last Friday where we had tractors going through the town centre to Yorkshire flags and people with placards, got into the Northern Echo, Yorkshire Post, really brilliant impact. At the same time, the National Farmers Union are going hard on this. They've said if there isn't an amendment, let's at least have a trade and an agriculture commission. And then so the government put that together, but it's a bit of a fig leaf thing. So now it's been debated in the Lords last week, and the Lords were like, look, where this is going is no good. They voted for two amendments. One was to guarantee that any imports of food match domestic standards. And then the other one was to actually give this commission teeth, so that it isn't just a fig leaf floating on the side, sort of half appeasing the NFU, but rather parliamentarians can listen to that advice, can have a say over what trade deals are done. But this is all the beating heart of Brexit. If you're concerned about the NHS and US tech companies ripping out that data, if you're concerned about ISDS and the secret courts that could be set up with no transparency, that give American companies ability to sue our government if we write laws that they don't like, if you're worried about all of that, the block point, the real blockage for a UK-US trade deal is actually on food standards, because the vast majority of the public, 80 to 90% in polls, do not want chlorinated chicken, do not want hormone injected beef. A majority would rather give up the US trade deal than have to swallow down their standards. So this is the thing now to go hard on. And what you have seen happen last week with the Lord's amendment is that also it's then mobilized other campaigns such as Jamie Oliver and Joe Wicks working with the NFU, the Royal Society of Protection, Cruelty, Protection of, no, the oh God, what is it again? Protection of animals. I can't even think properly. I need more coffee, right? But all of those and NFU and Best for Britain are all piling in with writing emails to their MPs to hit at large this week. It's going to be debated again in the Lords on Thursday, but then on Thursday is when we find out if this is actually going to get brought back to the Commons next week for a vote by our MPs. That's the big one. At the moment, you know, all the furore from the public and from the farmers and within the Conservative Party itself has sort of held that process off. And now the Lords have defeated it. So now the Conservative Party, the government, has to calculate whether they can get that bill through in the way they like. And other factors weighing on their minds are, firstly, Donald Trump might not win and Joe Biden might come in. And Joe Biden has already made very, very strong noises about this international law breaking stuff that our government is doing, and he doesn't like. But then also the Republicans have been making similar noises, but it's a lot less likely under the Democrats. So they're holding off. This government is holding off a lot of hope on the US trade deal because they realize they're going to have to wait and see what comes out of the US election. So it might be not worth their while at the moment to go hard on ripping up standards under our country and under our farmers if they're not going to get a deal out of it. So now is absolutely the time to pour on the fire, and try and get this government to delay bringing it back to the Commons more and more and more as they work out that maybe this isn't going to be a win for them. So this is why ultimately, that's why I put the link in above. Now is the time to use that link from Save British Farming to write to your MP, because there have been tons of emails flooding in from the NFU on the back of their 1 million strong petition, now backed by Jamie Oliver, Joe Wicks, and a bunch of other TV celebrities. That will provide a whole wave of volume to MPs. Then there's all the Best for Britain, the affordable food deal emails going in. Then there are other campaigns also writing to MPs now. So then use the Save British Farming one to also add to that volume, because then the MPs will see that probably it is not worth a while at the moment to bring back the agriculture bill and try and pass it through with no protections for our farmers, no protections for our food standards, and for what? To do a deal with the US when the US is in no fit state to do a deal with us at the moment, and might even not go for a deal at all if we don't sort out things with the EU. So now is the time to pile on pressure. And I'll also tell you this, that when the moment that the government decides to bring the agriculture bill back to Parliament to have a vote on it with the MPs, that's when we should ramp up the campaigning even further. But we don't want it to get to that stage, because they'd probably only get it back when they think that they've got the votes for it. But right now is the time when they're making up their mind about whether they're going to announce on Thursday afternoon, when they always announce the business, whether they're going to try and bring this back to vote on it. So if we go now, today and tomorrow, pushing out all that correspondence to MPs, hey, use that link, or just write, flat out yourself. If you've already got writing experience of writing to your MPs, just do a straight up from you to them without any interface thing. But either way, get that to them now, because we're adding on to volume, and that's the ambition. Because at the end of the day, we're looking at a forced choice about where this country goes. Do we want to roll into the Donald Trump model? Do we want to politically align there? And do we want to drop all of our food standards and become just a consumer nation which is flooded by cheap goods? Or do we actually value the British standards that we've built up, which are British European standards, but also very, very British, and something that we feel a lot of patriotism about, the fact that we have higher quality and higher standards in so many areas? That is the model that we want. British high standards aligning with European high standards, our near neighbours, and trying to help those standards in animal welfare, in quality of food, around the world. That's what we want to be doing, and those are the messages that you should be sending your MP now. And we know that this government has U-turned many times about issues where they feel a popular backlash against them, and it's not worth their while opposing it. So this is one of those, I would posit. So go for it, do that now. Let's keep going, guys, and I will catch you soon.